It no longer becomes about the belt.
The belt or the expectation or the pride.
Yeah. It's about their frustrations, their guilt, their inability to forgive, right? And they're letting it all out. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Reel Chums. We're chatting about movies feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Danny.
This week, we are discussing the 2023 film Creed 3, directed by Michael B. Jordan, his directorial debut. Screenplay written by Keenan Coogler, Zach Baylin, with story by Ryan Coogler, and both Keenan Coogler and Ryan Baylin.
Zach Baylin.
Dang it, what did I say? Ryan, huh? I meant Zach.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's right.
Starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors, and many more.
We're getting hate on YouTube because we mispronounced someone's name. So
Yeah, you guys obviously don't know who I am. Listen, I'm a Mexican American. I have 2 languages in my brain. I'm trying to work on a third because my daughter's learning Portuguese, and I feel like I should try to brush up with some Portuguese. And then on top of that, reading ain't my strong suit every day. Okay, listen, I read in my head, and then I start reading out loud, and then I'm like, oh, is that the right sound? Am I making?
Look, just go to IMDb, find out who these people are. If we mispronounce someone's name, sorry, but
we do. I mean, we respect every single one of these people.
Yeah, no,
I'm not well versed. I've never been well versed with any people in Hollywood's names.
Yeah,
unless they're super. Even when they're super famous, sometimes I mess them up.
Even like a Brad Pitt. Sometimes I'll call him a Brad Hit.
Nailed that.
Oh yeah, it's Brad Pitt, not Hit. Yeah, right.
No, dude. You know who I get messed up all the time? Justin Long.
Okay.
And what's his lookalike? His other. Oh, and who's the Flash?
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. I feel like in my mind, every time I look at them, I have to say, is that Ezra Miller? Is that Justin Long?
I love those Instagram posts every now and then. That's like celebrity lookalikes with another celebrity, right? And it's just who's the one? I don't see it, and I always see it in every list. Bryce Dallas Howard with Jessica Chastain.
Yes,
I don't see it. They don't look alike.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, they have red hair, but that's it.
Just because redhead. Come on, way to be redheadists. Hold on, I'm gonna roll the intro right now. Okay. This week we got some good stuff. Now, before we jump into the movie today, we do want to say thank you to the nearly 100 people who subscribe to our YouTube channel. We thank you, and we appreciate you guys coming and joining the Reel Chums. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the description for the newsletter so you can get to know, so you know when new episodes come out, as well as when we're launching stuff or just giving some additional thoughts to the shows that we might be watching. Because it's pretty, we love doing this. This is not an easy task to do. We're about to hit, this is our 39th episode.
This will be 38, 39.
39. I think this episode is me 39, which is pretty amazing. I mean, most people stop at 20. They get it done. But we're planning a whole second season. Yeah,
we're planning a second season. We have fun.
Absolutely.
I think that's just what's great about it. It's just we have fun and people are in engaging through the comments and sharing their thoughts. So
we appreciate you.
We appreciate that. And if you're listening on the podcast right now and not on YouTube, go subscribe to YouTube because there's a lot of engagement there.
Yeah, we do other stuff there.
Yeah.
And we'll eventually start doing other series other than just trailer reactions.
Yeah.
Real quick, we also wanted to remind you to, with that, subscribe. If you're listening because you got this via shared, subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts, and then or go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us there.
And share with friends, share with anyone, share on your page. Just that's how we get new listeners.
Absolutely.
As a quick reminder, also, we're going to be taking a break in December as we prep for the holidays, as we prep for season 2. So just wanting to inform everyone, we will be releasing episodes every week, but there are previous episodes, just re-releasing them, mainly because we have lots of new listeners, viewers, and so we're going to hand select some of our favorite episodes.
Yep.
To give you an idea of the podcast.
In addition, we have we'll be launching some sort of membership opportunity where you guys can help produce or give suggestions on what what movies we should review. And we'll have some additional content in those platforms. It'll be the place where we can communicate with you directly, and you guys can be part of the crew and all the good jazz.
So make sure you're following, as we've mentioned, because all the information is going to be released there.
Okay. It's question of the day. All right. If you could choose one sports movie to watch forever and ever, what sports movie is it going to be?
Well, a specific movie or just like a genre of sports movies? Like
no, specific movie.
Ooh.
Maybe that's two. Maybe that's,
no. That's great. That's great.
I think this is our second. Well, this is our first dedicated movie that we're talking about sports, because the first one was Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have we done another? We haven't done another.
No, I don't think we have done another sports movie. Oh, that's good. I think I would go with actually like a Rocky and Creed franchise. Is that permissible? An entire collection?
I'll allow it.
Okay. Mainly, I bought the Rocky
collection?
like box set.
Yeah.
I think it was like 5 years ago during Black Friday on Amazon.
Was this before or after the first release of the Creed?
I think it was after first Creed.
After the first Creed?
Yeah.
I know they were doing a special collection.
And I think of like my physical media. I think that's like the only like sports movie I have. Now that I think about it, yeah. But it's a funny story. Like my daughter was born like 3 months after I bought it, and she was up in the middle of the night, and we weren't sleeping because we're new parents. So like that first week we brought her home, we just watched
the Rocky movies,
all the Rocky movies.
Dude, that's awesome.
And it was great.
That's actually that'd probably be really special.
Yeah, I think that's why we'll get to it, but I love this franchise so much.
I don't think I was ready for this question.
Would it be Remember the Titans?
I was just trying to think that. I think it might be, but I really love Creed. I love the first Creed a lot. I also really love, as corny as it is, Drumline. I really love Drumline.
You've mentioned this a couple of times, so we're gonna have to do Drumline.
Have you watched Drumline?
I've never seen Drumline.
That might be the first episode, first episode of the next season.
We might have to just do Drumline, yeah.
No, it won't. That won't be the first episode. But truly love that movie. Obviously, you got to go with. As much as it got some hate, I really like Blindside too.
Okay.
And what's the one from here locally that was like the rugby one? No, apparently it's not good enough. I can't remember right now.
Oh, it had what's his face?
Yeah,
Samwise from Lord of the Rings, right?
Maybe. It has a guy from Never Back Down in it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, I'd probably choose Creed.
Okay.
Or actually, this one. This one was really good. Creed 3 was the Creed franchise. Ryan Coogler. All right, let's get into this.
Let's get into it.
Let's break down Creed 3. Creed 3 is the final, maybe not final, but like Adonis Creed is now retired from boxing. He took the championship and he's retired. He's now running his own location, helping other boxers get into the game and make their own titles, make their own way in the industry. We find out that he's been dealing and buried some childhood trauma that it manifests in his friend coming back out of prison who wants to contend and ends up challenging him for the title. And that's the movie.
Yeah. Great synopsis. I want to kind of start off by your love for this franchise because you clearly have a love for it.
I do.
What is that relationship between you and Rocky / Creed? And we'll go back and forth between the two, just because
Yeah, I think
Creed does fall under the
yeah.
Rocky franchise, but
So I was never, not that I do enjoy the Rocky movies now, but I actually still haven't watched. So there's three,
no, there's five.
So I've only seen 3 of the 5 or whatever. I've only seen 3 of the movies. Rocky 1 and 2.
Rocky 1 and 2. You have Rocky 4. No, there's 6.
So I've seen Rocky Balboa.
That's
Rocky
number 6.
1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Is there another one?
Rocky 3, obviously.
Yeah. There's one with another title, right?
There's Rocky 4.
Okay, so then only the first 2 and then Rocky Balboa. So
Rocky 4 is when he fights Drago.
Yeah, so 1 and 2, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen.
You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen Drago. I know it's like a big deal. I don't know why I haven't seen it, honestly. For the record,
interesting.
It's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
As a Creed fan, it's a little bit unacceptable.
As a Creed fan, I think I told you this. That's like my 4th of July movie, because that's when he fights Russia.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. Yeah,
That's when we fight the Soviet Union. That's like the best 4th of July movie for me.
And it plays, and then there's another payoff, or like the whole Creed 2. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm not gonna focus on, but there's something to me about Ryan Coogler coming in with Michael B. Jordan, coming off of Fruit Heights. Ryan Coogler is
Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station. Yeah. Not Fruit Heights. Fruitvale Station, which is
it's impactful movie.
A very impactful movie.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Yeah. But them coming together and then coming into the franchise and being able to like tell this story in a new way, but only in a way that like directors and characters of color can do. And I don't know if I don't want that to feel like I'm favorite. I just think that there's something about people who can come in, who've grown up in the suburbs, in the urban environment, who understand cultural nuances and can really bring that on screen. And I feel like Creed has done that really, really well.
Yeah, and there's an authenticness to that portrayal, right? I think a lot of times there are movies that whatever the message is or the storyline is, incorporating minorities or people of color, and it doesn't, not that it feels forced, but it doesn't feel as natural.
Yeah.
And I think especially Creed 1 does such a great job at like really introducing Creed, introducing these new characters, but introducing them into the world of Rocky, but as its own self, and making it very natural too. Yeah.
So like I think what Sylvester Stallone did for the Rocky, he did that. He wrote it, and he was the one that helped shape that. He has his own character and his own persona in that aspect as well. And that's why I feel like, they try to respect that by providing, having slang term that is only used in that area, right? Being able to like come in and understand and make it feel like, oh, these individuals they live here. They understand the life that it is to come to grow up here, and to be part of this. And also, who doesn't love an underdog story?
And that's at the core. That's what these movies will always be, right?
It's always be this.
Whether Rocky's at the top of his game, or Creed is at the top of his game, there's always something that makes them be an underdog to it, which we all can relate to.
We can all relate to it. And I want to just say that I think Creed 3 has done a phenomenal job at revisiting this idea in a way that like makes it so relatable. Because I mean, like being an underdog in a boxing, like being an underdog is relatable, but being like coming in as an underdog for like not having a name, coming into boxing or whatever, and showcasing that you can, but being at the top of your game and having to be called out by someone of your that you knew that had ends up getting in prison because they made, both decisions made poor choices. You know, young Adonis starts beating up on this older man who beat up on him, right? Maybe shaped a little bit of who he became, who he is, right? Of the anger he has. And then his friend who wanted to be the champion of the world, having a gun on him and pulling a gun and not making good choices. But because of the world they live in, it ends up happening in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I just really, really love the way that went about depicting the underdog story for Creed 3. Now, but I want to know, before we get into some of the weeds of Creed 3 and some of the things we love about it, what is it for you about the Rocky series that, I mean, obviously there's something sentimental about watching it, you know, that first week with your first, a newborn in the house. But like,
I think for me, what I love about them, I think I saw Rocky 4 first. So Rocky versus Soviet Union, right? Versus Drago. And I think growing up, that's the movie that was always like playing on TV most. So I would always watch that. And I just love the idea of like the Soviet Union, the Cold War, the backdrop of the Cold War, and like what it means for like sports to like really like come in and like shape, not necessarily shape politics, but like we can let out our frustrations
in a non-lethal
way, right? And how personal it became, especially because you that's when Creed dies, right? Apollo Creed dies in that one. And even though I had no idea who like Apollo Creed was, I just, at that point as a kid, I was like, oh, it must be a friend of Rocky's. It was impactful. But then eventually, I think it was in my early 20s, I went through and I watched all of them, and for the first time. And I knew like the beats, I knew like the overall story of Rocky. I had seen 5. I had seen bits and pieces of 1 prior to this. But when I sat down and I watched all of them, I just fell in love with Rocky 1 because, and all of them, I think like, especially Rocky 1 has maybe 15 total minutes of actual boxing.
Yeah. It's not a boxing.
It's not a boxing movie, right?
Yeah. The first one's not a boxing movie.
And I think I always remember being like, oh, this isn't like why this was the question. Why do we and not just men, but like, why do people love going to Rocky? And at that time I was like, why do men love it so much when it's not really like an action movie, and it's not really like
I wouldn't even say
a Bruce Lee martial arts where there's, you know, Enter the Dragon where he's competing and going through all these stages of fights, but like it's a pure drama.
Yeah.
And this story of like
of a man who is trying to find love but also find purpose in his life.
Yeah, it's a love story.
Yeah.
A love story between him and Adrian, a love story between him and his love for boxing, a love story between him and this father figure that he's going to have with I forget his coach's name. Darn it. But it was so impactful. And then watching the second one with fighting Apollo, and then the third one, Apollo coming back and like training him, the Eye of the Tiger. He's got the Eye of the Tiger, man. He's gonna take you out. I just love it, right? And then 4, there's no matter what stage. Yeah, they got a little bit goofy later, you know, especially 5 with like the robot servant that he had. Yeah, you don't know about this.
I don't.
He has a robot butler. Okay?
Wait, Rocky?
Rocky. It's weird.
I feel like that time when that movie. I feel like there was a time in cinema where they thought the future would be way more advanced.
Yeah.
Than it is.
Yeah. But like there's always, you can always relate to Rocky in whatever stage of life he's in.
Yeah.
And I think that's what these movies are, a drama first and then a boxing third, right? The drama, love, trauma in this one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And boxing is the means to combat all these things.
The engine.
The engine that powers it. So I love just these franchises so much.
Okay, so with that said, do you want to start with the boxing portion of this, or do you want to start with the trauma portion of this?
Let's start with the trauma.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to start.
Full spoilers ahead, everyone, as you know.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this.
I really appreciated that they went with trauma.
I think it's such a powerful storytelling theme.
Yeah.
Not everyone has an abusive father,
No,
or a father figure like Creed here did. But there are things in our childhood that shape us for good or better in the long term, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, it just happened to be that because of growing up in a group home, his father figure abused them, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's such a great storytelling because it also it encompasses the character arc of Creed,
of Adonis, right? No, 100%. Because it's not clear, but it feels as if this incident then leads essentially Adonis to be left in that cell that we see him in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for him.
Well, no, because he was already living with Mama Creed.
No. I'm saying that I know, but what I'm saying. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot.
Yeah, here when he's hanging out with Damien. Yeah,
but they had other situations prior.
Exactly.
Right, and this is why Damien gets arrested and is sentenced to 18 years to life.
Yep.
It's not 18 years to life, but it's 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah. For holding a gun because he had other prior. So who knows if maybe Damien is the character that ends up, because of the group home they lived in.
Yes.
That left him up where Adonis was.
Correct.
You know, with Mama Creed, right? And so I think it was, but on top of that, like the burden he carries,
mm-hmm.
that he left someone who he considered as a brother that he loved, that ended up going and living out that dream.
In the shame and guilt that he carries, right? So you're I think from a story perspective and a screenplay perspective, you want to make a sequel. You're on the third one.
Yeah.
What can we do to continue to see the growth of this character?
Yes.
And what challenges can we present that continue to push him forward? And actually like relatable challenges, right?
I love, this is really simple, but I love that they went with the fact that Adonis still struggles talking about his feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always struggled to like share and that, you know,
open up
and share what's going through his mind and what he's facing. Right. And Tessa Thompson is phenomenal.
She's great in all of these, in everything, but she's great in this. I do feel like her character kind of took a backseat in this one, which I was kind of like,
But I think I agree. The one thing I would say is like we have to like in their life. Mama Creed has had a stroke. She's worried about her. She wants to have her at the house, but also she's trying to do her own thing with music and manage that. Right. So we don't. My assumption is that they have had. Maybe she's taking more of a front driving seat in some producing aspects or whatever, right? But in any case, more of her presence was missed in this film.
Yeah.
But I really loved every single time she was on screen and they were having conversations. It really just helped to like drive home, like that. That it helped to build the internal struggle that we then see as we see Adonis begin to try to face it.
Yeah, and her delivery to everything was so good, so on point. She's awesome in these movies. I want to go back a little bit to Creed, right? I think it's such a smart way to introduce childhood trauma here. Creed has retired.
Yeah.
He's at the top. He was at the top of the game. And I love that they showed a flashback to him beating Ricky Conlon again. Or not again, but beating him from the first movie. And then him being, world champion and retiring. So he's at the top of his game. He's killed it. He's doing awesome. He retires. We skip to present time. And he's just now helping, like you said, like guiding others to get into the sport. But then you have a character who kind of, quote unquote, and Damien says, that he's at the top of the world, that he's wearing suits and everything. With contrast with something that's sitting, that he's buried deep inside, right?
Yes.
And that's what's going to bring your character metaphorically down.
Yeah. I love the diner scene.
The diner scene is so good.
Yeah.
There's something so powerful, and I wrote in my notes, especially Jonathan Majors' performance here, especially in that diner scene. The weight that he carries just in his eyes.
I was going to say, are you going to bring up the eyes?
The eyes, man.
Bro, Jonathan Majors really, there's something about that. Like, he really connected to this character.
Yeah.
And then, but not only that, but we have to remind ourselves that Michael B. Jordan is the one directing this as he's acting.
Yeah. Which, let's get to that in a second. But Jonathan Majors, though, like the way he connected to this character and the complexity that he brings just through his facial expressions, right? I think is such a contrast to Michael B. Jordan's Creed, who struggles communicating, who struggles opening up. Yet Damien is so good at expressing emotions, deceitfully or directly.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Just through facial emotions, right? Facial expressions.
I'm glad you caught that. I don't think this is the first time. This is our first time watching it. So we wanted to watch this in theaters. We wanted to review it earlier on, but we were trying to figure out what we wanted for this podcast. And I'm glad that we're doing this now. And I'm really sad that I didn't watch it sooner.
Me too.
So that I could have watched it a second time. But I think you're right that like for Jonathan Majors' character, the way he communicates. I think one of the scenes that I think really is deliberate about this is him going over to Tessa. Because it's like, what is he trying to do here? What is he trying to do? Is he trying to come after Tessa? Like, is this the thing, or is he trying to build some other wedge, right? And he we find out that he's just trying to not help, but like he's trying to put something in motion so that maybe pressure gets put on.
Yeah.
Right. But him leading with, it must feel really hard to hear someone else sing your songs. Resonating, trying to get her, trying to, have this understanding of like, maybe seeing if he can find connection from this character that he perhaps feels like he can connect to.
Yeah.
But how much of like what is his game? Because we know, I mean, the trailer, even before seeing this movie, that this is what's going to happen, right? But they did they did a really phenomenal job in the story, like keeping it under wraps. That like this is like this old friendship struggle when things can go the worst.
Also, this friendship struggle, and I love, and I think I often find myself criticizing, especially on this podcast, like the Marvel movies. I love them. Okay, let's just get that. I'm not I'm not an MCU hater. I love them, but there are times where like they bring up something like in the third, fourth movie, and it's like, oh, I feel like that should have been addressed like in the first movie, and it's like, but they're bringing it up in the fourth movie now because it's a plot point that they have to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think this movie, you could have easily been like, why has he never brought up Damien, right? But it's because of the trauma. Like, this is something that he has buried.
That's what I loved about this.
Right? And so when you watch these movies as a trilogy, it plays so well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Now I made a very bold statement earlier this year that that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was like the perfect like cap to a trilogy.
Yeah. Are you going to recant that?
This one's like very, very close there.
I think it might be. I was going to ask this to you because there's something about Michael B. Jordan directing this film, bringing his flavor and depicting this character that he's played and he has a personal relationship to want to share that story with such a deep, emotional, personal thing. If I'm emotional right now.
Yeah.
I'm emotional. I don't know why I got suddenly. I think part of it's because like the scene, the montage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's go into it.
Okay. Before let's get to the montage right now. Okay, look, the montage is a key element to the Rocky franchise.
Of course.
But there is something special about this Michael B. Jordan training for the Dame versus Creed fight. And I want to know, did you love it as much as I did?
I loved it. And it's interesting because I in the montage scenes, you always have like that like thematic musical score.
Yeah.
Or Eye of the Tiger playing or whatever it is, right? And even in the Creed movies, I think Ludwig Göransson was the one who did the first one. But he like incorporate themes of like Rocky into the score. This one was very isolated, its own beat dropping, right? And so looking at it from that perspective, I love that now this is an individual who's now his own. He's out of the Rocky shadow, He is his own person in the boxing world. You incorporate the music as well by not incorporating the Rocky theme, right? You have this strong individual. But I love also what I loved about it is just the way that they stripped down his character. This is a man who's been at the top of the world, right? And now he's in some isolated gym because they're not at the Delphi gym. They're at some other gym.
Yeah.
He's not running on treadmills. He's pulling a freaking airplane. He's running up the Hollywood mountain
with weighted vests.
Yeah.
He's training not with his trainers, but he's also training with old foes.
Yeah. They bring back Drago, right, to help him. So this is just being stripped down. I love that. And then you have the contrast of Jonathan Majors, who got so freaking big.
All these guys got freaking yoked.
Yeah, man.
Straight
Majors though, like
Greek god or gods over here.
Above the Greek gods, man. His chest and back, just ridiculous. But seeing him also like get into that, I just love the contrast between the two. It's been a while since I've seen some of the other Creed, Adonis, the Rocky movies, but the ones that I have seen, and I've seen all of them. But there's something about this montage that has been like I love that it's a montage not about that. It's about boxing, but it's the mental battle that they're fighting towards each other, and I love it so much. I think I love so much that they end with this mirror scene where they're looking both at each other through themselves. Yeah. Imagining each other. And not only that, but like Adonis Creed's battle of him trying to like the underdogness comes out. Like it solidifies the fact that he's the underdog in his mind. He may not people may not look at him as the underdog in the fight, but in his mind he's facing himself. And I love that in this like montage we feel that. Yes, this was my interpretation of that scene. It's a beautiful callback to Creed 1 when they're having a montage sequence.
Yeah.
Rocky's training Creed.
Yeah.
He has him stand up in front of a mirror.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
says, "You see this guy staring back at you? That's your toughest opponent."
Yeah.
Right? And so we're seeing that, right? He's looking at himself.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Majors, and Majors says something along the lines of, he talks to his reflection, and he says something along the lines of like, I got you, or I'm taking you out.
Yeah, I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
Right? Michael B. Jordan doesn't say anything.
No.
He just looks at himself because he's remembering what Rocky said of, I'm my toughest opponent, right? Yeah. I can do this. I can beat, right? Whereas Major's focus is on taking out, what's his face? Creed.
Yeah.
So I love that contrast, that mentality shift that he is bringing, again, Adonis bringing to himself, just being like, I can do this. The only person that's holding me back is myself. Yeah. Whereas Majors is so focused on beating him.
But he's facing himself in the thing that is caused him so much darkness and trauma. Mm-hmm. Which he's facing the actual man that was involved with that trauma.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's this deep level of the, like, I think I love, he gets hit by, what's the Russian guy's name? Dragos. Yeah. He gets, that guy's so freaking tall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I think he's that tall, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
He's
not on stilts.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
But him, knocking Creed to the floor, and he having the scene of him, like, every single time he's got knocked down, having that, like, it's almost like, when, the all right, scan the jolter thingy. What are those guys? I can't remember what they're called. Anyways, it's like he has those moments, and that scene, like the like culmination of that, and then him realizing that, like, he himself will pick himself up, and he has to go on fighting.
Yeah.
And I have to overcome these challenges, and like that, just beautiful cinematography, beautiful editing.
Yeah.
Beautiful, like, some of the most. There's the beauty of a montage.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, I want to jump into a scene that I think also cements Michael B. Jordan's directorial style.
Yeah,
that we haven't seen before. The final fight scene, right? Boxing match. Round 1 happens, round 2, and then it goes into round 3. They're at the stadium,
dude.
Everything empties out.
Yeah.
Right? and it's just them two fighting.
Yeah.
Right? There's no one in the bleachers, no one in the audience, and it's just like it's all emptied out and it's them. Something that we've never really seen prior in Creed movies. I think maybe we'd have seen like an effect of it in a previous Rocky. I can't remember. I think Rocky 4 might have done this when he's fighting Drago. But what a unique stylistic choice for this.
I love it.
Okay, yeah, talk me through it.
Okay, technical or just like why I love it?
Why you love it?
So Michael B. Jordan was very vocal when I remember through press junkets. Man, I'm missing press junkets, man.
So am I. Freaking writer or freaking executives.
No, not yeah.
Freaking executives not paying.
Dumb.
Yeah.
But he loves anime.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan loves anime. If you haven't watched Genlock, he voice acts in that.
Okay.
It's an animated on Amazon Prime, I think. It's called Genlock. And it's pretty great. I enjoyed it a lot. But he wanted to take elements of things that he's seen in storytelling in anime. And I think this is one of them. And as well as like the really magical shots that are love moments to anime, but not overly anime. Like the super hits that come in with slow-mo cams and the robot arms. Because I think that's what they are, is that they're cameras that are like hyper, they're like super slow-mo cameras, but they're on like a mechanical robot arm, so they can get these like really methodical, amazing shots. But I think what I love about that scene is that it comes back down to like, these are just two individuals facing. They're facing the demon that has like plagued them.
Yeah.
On the one end, they have Major's character Dame, who sees a younger brother who he considers as a younger brother.
Yeah.
Achieve everything he's ever wanted. Mm-hmm. Where he has, and then Adonis facing the guilt that he's battling, and that these two people are so equal, but they're fighting for everything.
They're fighting for everything. It no longer becomes about the belt.
The belt or the expectation or the pride.
Yeah. It's about their frustrations, their guilt, their inability to forgive, right? And they're letting it all out. And I think that's what's so powerful is that it becomes very personal.
It becomes personal. That's a great way of putting it.
Right? And I think of it like prior Creed movies, right? Yes, it was personal, right? When he fought Drago because his dad killed his own dad, right? But this becomes personal in the sense that he's experienced this and he's carried this for the last almost 2 decades, right? And so it's such a unique and beautiful like stylistic decision. My only complaint, I just wish they would have eliminated the score.
Oh, I agree. I would agree with that. And it would have made
and focus
on the fight.
Yeah, focus on the fight. Eliminate the score. Really let the sound design team just overdo the hitting, so that way when it's because it's almost like pitch black, but like it's just quiet. Yeah. There's no sound except for the sound of the box of the gloves just hitting, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have to rewatch. I wanted to rewatch it. I really wanted to watch this fight scene before coming to the pod, but I just didn't have a chance because I felt like I needed to rewatch it because I feel like there's more. I wondered if they did do a cut. I bet you they might have gotten to a point where they did a cut, and maybe it was too long to feel.
Let me feel. This is just a personal preference. Yeah. I would have 100% just been like, we're eliminating it. And if the studio kept pressuring me to put music, I'm like, nah, this is on me.
You want it? Yeah.
I would.
And I mean, because I think maybe I don't know. I need to watch again. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I think that it could have been even stronger without any additional sound, or even no sound until it started to build towards that final punch. Because that final punch, man,
it's so good.
They're just the both of them together. That like, I want to know how many times they had to do this to get this right.
I'm gonna have to watch the making of.
It's a very unique, and I think it was a strong decision.
Yeah, it was unique, very stylistic, and just a beautiful decision to put these two characters all climax to this. We're coming up on time, but I do want to talk. I do feel like there were some. Look, Michael B. Jordan did great. I think the movie had some issues with its pacing earlier on. I also feel like the whole, and maybe this is just me.
No, I think I know where you're going with this.
But I would have loved to have them shown me what really happened a little bit earlier, rather than fragmented. You know. You're giving me like flashbacks to what happened. It's not fully there, but it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't. Well, it didn't give me enough information to be like
to connect to
it, right? Again, we did Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, a couple weeks ago, and that movie, like, it has like 5 flashbacks, and then you finally see everything come together, right? Whereas this one, I just felt like it didn't give me enough. We had a big flashback at the beginning, right, with him young, and then like it cuts, but it doesn't feed me enough. And then the whole thing with the picture.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna ask this. I was like, is this a character that I'm like in the Creed? I'm like, maybe I need to rewatch all the Creeds again because I'm like, I have no idea what this picture is. What was this?
Yeah, it's the first thing I googled when the movie ended. Do you still not know?
I still don't know because I meant to Google it, but
Yeah.
I had this shoot thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I saw it. I'm like, oh, is that Leon?
oh,
Because I'm like, is that supposed to be Leon? And now he feels betrayed that the guy who abused them, and we don't even know up to this point that he's been abused by Leon. That this guy that he beat up, now they're friends. Like, no, it turns out the guy in the picture is the same guy who broke Drago's hand at the premiere party.
oh, yeah. Okay.
So he sees the picture, and he makes a connection that then Jonathan Majors hired
This kid,
this guy, this former cellmate, to beat up so that way his plan could go into effect.
That's really funny because like I knew that guy had been planted by Majors, but I didn't make the connection because I was like, what the heck is with this freaking photo?
But I mean, it would have been great. Just like he then goes and confronts Majors at the beach scene, right?
They should have had a flashback to Majors, like, or something,
Or him just like Creed just then saying,
doing a little bit exposition.
I know that you hired so and so, and it's like, because the rest of the movie was like, okay, I see his anger and why he's mad, but I'm reaching for these connections, and I'm not sure if I'm right.
I think maybe it was just like a slight like maybe Michael B. Jordan wanted us to be a little bit. He was hoping that it was enough information with connections that we could do it. But I think because it's a picture, it's
a picture,
and it's like literally like less than a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And so like it's not enough information for us to think. We're thinking that it's someone who was in the past movies.
That but I love that you said that. It's a picture. It's two pictures. A picture on the screen, right? And in the news saying this guy beat up Drago's, because they show a profile.
Yeah.
Of the he's been arrested.
I just figured that's like one of those weird expositional news things that like then is the motivator for like, therefore this happens.
Yeah, no, I think that was like my biggest like issue there was just that. Favorite scene?
Go.
Or is there something else you want to discuss?
No.
Okay.
I think you can go.
Let's like favorite scene. Do you have a favorite scene?
I mean, I think the montage scene is just my favorite.
The montage scene.
The montage is just so great.
Okay.
I love the editing in it so much. Like I could feel the love, the like passion for this franchise, for the characters in the edit, in the montage. And for me, it really hit home.
I do think this is one of the better montage scenes. It's a powerful one. My favorite scene, is towards the end when Adonis walks into Damien's locker room, and they have this moment of like they've let it all out on the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's two grown men, two extremely strong and ripped men, just having this emotional breakdown.
I 100% agree. I loved that they had this scene.
I love that they had that scene. 'Cause I think any other...
They would have just ended and maybe would have finished with Adonis and his family.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about the closure that these two men need to have.
Yeah.
And I loved that he's like, I'm here for you.
I love the forgiveness of it all, right? I've got the script pulled up, right? He walks in, he sits down, and what's his face? Damien says, "Guess you did learn a few moves without me." Right? I love that.
I know.
And then Adonis says, "Dame, I'm sorry. All those years, I never checked up on you."
Yeah.
That's the guilt he's carrying.
That's the guilt he's carrying.
Right? That's the guilt he's carrying. And he says, "That's on me." And then he goes on, we were just kids.
We were just kids.
Right? And he says, "It ain't on you."
Yeah.
Okay? None of it, never was. And then the powerful comment from Adonis, "It wasn't on you either." And it's just these two men who look at each other, and we could have avoided all of this had I just reached out. Had I just like checked in on you. Yeah, my mom kept some letters from you, but I should have made that effort to reach out. And he saying like, "Yeah, but we were kids. Like, we didn't know any better."
And like sometimes you do have to get in a fight.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to get in a fight, whether that be in a fist fight or a vocal fight or like screaming match or whatever. Sometimes there's something, or writing it out or whatever you do, whatever needs to happen. Sometimes those pieces of conflict need to happen in order to make progress.
But it's the resolution at the end of that conflict.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie portrays so well. That they could have just said, boom, they let it all out. They were moving on and it's all there. But no, like we take time and we take like a good minute and a half of this movie, 2 minutes to like have these individuals just sit down and forgive one another and forgive themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love it.
It's
so good.
I really appreciated that end scene.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's what brothers do. That's what if you are with somebody, if you have somebody that's a friend of yours that says that they're a friend and you have some sort of fight or whatever and you haven't made up, then that's on you guys. Yeah. It's about making that resolution and saying, yo, maybe I was wrong. Right. Maybe I was wrong too.
Yeah.
Let's move past
this. Right. But also, I was hoping, because he then says, go with your family, like whatever. And Adonis could have been like, dude, like follow me. Like you're in this. So I think there's also like a theme there. Like forgiveness is crucial.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is important, to forgive others, forgive yourself. But also, like he set a boundary there.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, I love you. And I forgive you. And I forgive myself. But that doesn't mean like you're in the family. Like, I think it's a beautiful like boundary that he sets there.
Look, family needs boundaries too.
Yeah. This movie hit. This movie hit so good.
It hit so good. I'm actually super sad that I didn't go see this in theaters.
It's so good. I'm hoping for more.
I'm actually hoping that,
but at the same time, it's like this movie like really drilled into the fact that Michael B. Jordan is quote unquote old and like he can't keep fighting. And I don't, and like Rocky did that like on movie 3, yet there were still 3 more after that. Right. And so like, I'm just kind of like, where do we go from here? Because I would love to see in 10 years, Amara take on the Creed legacy.
I know, that's what I want so much.
I would love that.
Oh, so it would be so good. I would love it so much.
I would love that. But I don't want to wait 10 years for another Creed movie.
So they just recast? Or they cast some other female to play the daughter?
Yeah, but and have a movie come out in 2 years?
Michael B. Jordan, just throw some prosthetics, some gray beard.
Last thought of mine. So obviously Stallone was not in this.
Yeah.
The whole issue behind Stallone and everything?
A little bit. It was in the second one that they had some falling out, right?
So Stallone has had a 40-something-year-old battle with the producers of this movie.
Oh.
And as of like 2 days ago, there's the new documentary on Netflix about Sylvester Stallone. But if you don't know, real recap, Stallone sold the rights to Creed. It was the first movie he wrote. He sold the rights to Irwin Winkler. And Stallone made a lot of good money. Oh, I think he only made like a couple thousand on the first movie. The rest of the movies, he renegotiated contracts, etc., and made obviously bank on those. But he sold the rights to Rocky and all the characters in that first contract, and he's been fighting for 43 years to get the rights to those characters back. And after the second Creed, he got really upset, and it's been anyways. But he wasn't in this movie because he felt that it was too dark. The themes were too dark.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. So he did an interview with THR where he said, "Look, I love my heroes getting beat up, but this movie just felt too dark. I would have taken it in a whole different direction. And I have a great idea of what the third one would have been, but it was too dark. And I feel like people carry darkness in them already. Why project it more on screen?"
Oh, that's so weird because I feel like this movie, if they not made it this way, would have just been like, eh.
Yeah, yeah,
I think because of what he was facing internally.
yeah.
I don't know. Wow,
I don't think it's a dark topic.
But I mean, I think if you look at Sylvester Stallone, like for his generation, like this is dark.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. So that was like the reason, because he had written a third one, and he had been brought in, and Ryan Coogler and others wrote this one, right? And he just like, nah, it's too dark. But anyway, so get on his social media, because he says some funny
I actually,
stuff about the Winklers, because now Erwin Winkler is 93,
yeah,
and he's handing off the business to his two sons, and Stallone just like rips a new one every time, and which I mean, yeah, like there's.
Well, I mean, like they probably I mean, he wasn't in the industry, so
he wasn't in the industry, yeah.
So like he didn't know what he was doing,
right?
Which I don't blame him. Like you would make a mistake like that because you're getting some of the.
I've made mistakes at not reading like contracts. Like I've been there.
I did not get the additional house, the additional cabinet piece in my kitchen.
Right. And so no, I understand his frustration, especially because he's written all the movies, all the Rocky ones, starred in them. And obviously he wrote in Creed, in the first two Creeds, and so like. Yeah, I see his frustration.
I mean, too. And he built
a multi-decade long franchise
that that could easily be again rebooted with a different character.
Yeah,
from
there is rumors that the Winklers have talked about wanting to do a Drago spinoff, a series, and Stallone had some thoughts on that as well. Go check out his Instagram. He lets it all out there.
Have you watched this? Have you watched the Sly documentary?
I haven't. It came out.
Docket.
Yeah, it came out a couple days ago, and I just haven't had time.
I want to watch the Arnold and then the Sly.
I've started the Arnold. I've seen 2 episodes, but I need to finish that one as well.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we would love it if you could subscribe on whatever platform you get your podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review. It does help us get discovered on whatever platform you are listening to.
More importantly, we want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of Creed? Do you like the franchise? What's your favorite Rocky? Let us know. You can always connect with us on all socials at Reel Chums, or feel free to email us at your@reelchums.com. You can find me on Twitter at Marstrosity, MARZTROSITY.
And me, Rubio_TV. Join us next week as we watch
Whiplash.
Totally spaced what we're gonna watch. Yeah, Whiplash, which is one we have both really loved.
This is like in my top 7 movies of all time.
That was really specific.
Very specific.
Is it number 7?
I don't know. But it's on Netflix. Go watch it. Come back, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.